And it is wonderful that with God, God has a way of putting things in front of you so that your mind does not lose focus.
Amen.
I know some folk lose focus and some folk forget who they are and whose they are. But there are some of us in here now, we recognize it don't matter what happened in our life, I got to keep my eyes on God.
Amen.
Peter was in the boat, saw Jesus walk on the water, said, bid me to come. Jesus said, come. He stood on the water, but the minute he took he was already on the water. He stepped out onto the water and kept his eyes on God the whole entire time. But he did not sink, the Bible says, until he took his eyes off of Jesus and started paying attention to what he was hearing and then looked at what he was standing on. So when your attention has become diverted, the devil knows that's the opportune time. That is the prime time for me to attack you mentally so that you'll never put your eyes back on the thing that kept you standing on something that you ain't have no business standing on. Can't find a church to talk to me like I really want them to talk to me yet. The enemy understands that you are closer than you think. He knows you're close, but you don't know as close as you are. The enemy knows if I can just get their mind to be on something else, then the problem that I'm having with them quitting church won't be a problem. They'll come to church but won't even be involved with church. They'll come to church but they won't even be thinking about church. They'll come to church but they won't care about what's going on in church. You ain't got to talk to me, but I'm going to talk to you. When we open up here in the book of Ecclesiastes, the Bible is very clear about a few things. The first thing is Solomon wrote this, and Solomon wrote the book of Ecclesiastes as he was dealing with a backslidden condition. Gotta find somebody that studies the whole Bible. He has started out in chapter 1 dealing with himself in a backslidden condition, and he's looking at everything he has accomplished in life and is going through changes because he still is not satisfied. When we arrive now at Ecclesiastes chapter 12, it is clear now that he has brought everything to a conclusion. That's why when we open up here at 13, he says everybody needs to hear what it is the preacher is saying. Why are you saying the preacher? Because the word Ecclesiastes means preacher. So the preacher is preaching the preacher again today from chapter 12, and he says everybody needs to hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. When we open here, and then I'm going to close, when we open here at chapter 12, the first thing he says is to remember now thy creator. Right. I'm trying to make sure everybody got the King James Version. Come on out of that NLV and KJV. Get in here and just stay where I am. It is remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. In other words, you need to recall, bring back to your mind things that happened to you. And it says, do this now while the evil days draw not. When you gonna say to yourself, I have no pleasure in them. It is a bad thing, and I'm getting in trouble already, girl. It is a bad thing when you get about my age, look behind you and see you ain't accomplished nothing. I'm going to have to plow the field today. It is a bad thing to look over your life and see what you have not accomplished. I can't find nobody to talk to me. When you get mad at other folk about things when it's really you that made decisions and put you where you are. And the Bible is clear. Said you need to bring back to your remembrance God, your creator, while you still got a chance before you get, this is what it's talking about, when you get to the age where you can't move, somebody got to roll you in a chair, when you can't feed yourself, when you get to the place where you get Alzheimer's and you can't remember things, remember now while you got the faculties of your limb. I'm not getting a church like I thought I would. I knew I need to find me another one. Remember now while you're able to move when I want you to move, while you're able to be used while I want to use you, before you get to the place where you look behind you and say, I wish I had let God let me minister to them. I wish God had gone on and overridden my own flesh and let me go on and be a blessing to somebody. It is bad when you look behind you and say, I ought to be further than I am in life. I ought to be more spiritual than I am right now. I ought to be more saved than I what you did. It's quiet in here. You hear how quiet it is? People don't want to holler stuff like that. You need to make sure before you close your eyes tonight, God, I got to hear the whole conclusion today. I got to make some decisions that before I wake up in the morning, you're going to be the one that guides me and directs my every footstep. I'm sick of being mad at me and everybody around me for decisions I'm making, and it ain't bothering me. It's aggravating me. It's got me going places. It's got me doing things all because I refuse to remember God. They won't help me, baby. Look at somebody and tell them, don't forget to remember. I got to find a church that know how to help a preacher preach so you can push them over the edge. Shake somebody's hand and tell them, I can't forget to remember. Yes, sir. The body shall be turned to dust, and life, the spirit, shall return unto God. I'm getting ready to close. The third thing, he pulls out, this is where turbulence hit, but I declare I'm going to rise safe. He said, vanity of vanity. God help me and preach it like I feel it. All is vanity. Which is where we get to the root of all 12 chapters. Because Solomon has wrote 11 chapters on how he has looked at doing things in life. Looked at accomplishments he's accomplished in life. I've got to find somebody I can talk to. Who can I preach to in here? He has looked at all the abilities he has nurtured and brought to 100%. He has looked at things he has perfected in life and said, it ain't worth nothing. I got to find me a church. God sent me here. Those candidates that are here, the preacher said, you tell them, if it ain't for the upbuilding of the kingdom, it's a waste of time. I'm not telling you not to go to college. I'm not telling you not to get a good job. But at the end of the day, if God ain't got the glory out of it, I can't find, they won't help me, Tony. God ain't glorified, then it was a waste. In other words, vanity now, vanity. Let me give you the definition for you think your pastor done lost it. Vanity means an excessive pride in a qualities or abilities or an outward appearance. And I'm getting in trouble already because some of y'all in here, you're more concerned about what you're qualified for. You're searching for a job. You're searching for money. And you ain't searching as hard as you are for those things that you are for God. You said that can give you the cattle on the I ain't gonna get much help, but I'm here. We searching a better our lives, build bigger houses, get better cars, and our worship ain't worth nothing. Our praise ain't worth nothing. Our faithfulness, our consistency, our studying ain't worth nothing. I told you I was coming, but I'm gonna rise. Look at somebody and tell them, if God ain't getting the glory, it's vanity. Honey, I got to go and pursue this job. I got to go and get this man. I got to go and get this woman. I got to get this raise. I got to get this promotion. I got to have these clothes. I